So, dear students, today we will know something about organic chemistry. So, today's topic is Introduction to Organic Chemistry and Organic Compounds. So, the word organic chemistry is derived from the word organic. So, organic chemistry, the name organic chemistry is derived from the word organic. So, originally, organic chemistry was defined as the study of compounds which are obtained from plants and animals. The study of compounds which are obtained from plants and animals is called organic chemistry. So, a scientist, Berzelius, put forward a theory called vital force theory to explain the origin of organic compounds. So, Berzelius, a scientist, put forward a theory to explain the origin of organic compounds. According to this theory, an organic compound is formed by the mysterious force or the vital force. Mystery. An organic compound is formed. Formation of an organic compound in plants and animals is a mystery, according to Berzelius. So, according to Berzelius, organic compounds are formed by the mysterious force which are present in plants and animals. So, mysterious force is also called as vital force. According to this theory, the organic compounds are formed by the mysterious force. It is also called as vital force which are present in plants and animals. So, for example, sugar cane contains sucrose. What is its formula? C12H22O11. So, sugar cane contains sucrose. Citrus fruits contain citric acid. So, vinegar is acetic acid, glucose, fructose, proteins, amino acids, carbohydrates which are present in plants and animals are obtained due to the mysterious force which are present in plants and animals, according to Berzelius. So, until that date, what was believed that organic compounds are formed by the mysterious force which are present in plants and animals. But later on, the scientist F. Wöhler WOHLER, Whoeler synthesized urea. What is its formula? NH2CONH2. Synthesized urea, which is an organic compound by heating ammonium cyanate NH4CNO, ammonium cyanate, which is an inorganic compound accidentally. So during his experiments in the laboratory, so while heating an inorganic compound, namely ammonium cyanate, he obtained a compound called urea, which is an organic compound. So that means he prepared an organic compound from an inorganic compound. So the vital force theory fails. So he disproved vital force theory. What the vital force theory says? Organic compounds are obtained in plants and animals by the mysterious forces or the vital forces which are present in plants and animals. Later on, F. Whoeler accidentally synthesized an organic compound, namely urea, by heating an inorganic compound, namely ammonium cyanate, in his laboratory and disproved vital force theory. That means he says that an organic compound can also be prepared in the laboratory from inorganic compounds. So that is how the vital force theory has been discarded. So the work of Whoeler becomes a revolution in the synthesis of so many lakhs, thousands and lakhs of organic compounds in the laboratory. So urea was the first organic compound prepared from inorganic compound in the laboratory accidentally, and this accidental synthesis of an organic compound in the laboratory disproved vital force theory, and this work has become a revolution in the synthesis of organic compounds in the laboratories. Therefore, the vital force theory has been discarded. So you will be asked, which is the first organic compound prepared in the laboratory? You have to write urea. What is its formula? NH2CONH2. So who disproved vital force theory? F. Whoeler, WOHLER. So how ammonium thiocyanate when heated? So this one is ammonium thiocyanate, ammonium cyanate. You will get NH2CONH2. This one is urea, ammonium cyanate. So this is how an organic compound has been prepared in the laboratory, and this work of Whoeler discarded vital force theory, and this is the basis for the failure of vital force theory. Now after this work, an organic chemistry has been defined as organic chemistry is defined as the chemistry of chemistry of carbon compounds. The study of carbon compounds. Carbon compounds. The study of or the chemistry of carbon compounds is called organic chemistry. But all compounds of carbon, all compounds of carbon are not organic, compounds. For example, carbon monoxide. This is carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, carbon disulfide, and carbonates, namely sodium carbonate, potassium carbonate, calcium carbonate, magnesium carbonate, etc. are inorganic compounds. So all carbon compounds are not organic compounds. There are some compounds of carbon which are inorganic compounds also. What are the inorganic carbon compounds? Namely, carbon monoxide is an inorganic compound, carbon dioxide, all these are compounds of carbon. Carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, carbon disulfide, carbonates, sodium carbonate, potassium carbonate, calcium carbonate, magnesium carbonate, etc. all are inorganic compounds. Next, the detailed study of third point, the detailed study of the properties and structure of organic compounds indicates that organic compounds are the hydrocarbons are the derivatives of hydrocarbons. So later on, the next definition of organic compounds. So what is the first definition of organic chemistry? Organic chemistry is the study of compounds which are obtained from plants and animals. So later on, F. Wöhler shows that organic compounds can also be prepared in the laboratory, and hence the vital force theory of Berzelius is discarded. Then what is the definition of organic chemistry? Organic chemistry is the study of carbon compounds or the chemistry of carbon compounds. But all carbon compounds are not organic compounds. There are some inorganic carbon compounds also. What are the examples for inorganic compounds? Carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, carbon disulfide, carbonates, etc. So, and then on the detailed study of properties and structure of organic compounds, it has been come to the conclusion that organic compounds are nothing but hydrocarbons or the derivatives of hydrocarbons. Now the latest definition of organic chemistry is the study of hydrocarbons and their derivatives is called organic chemistry. What is organic chemistry? The study of hydrocarbons and their derivatives. What are hydrocarbons? Hydrocarbons are the compounds containing carbon and hydrogen. Compounds containing carbon and hydrogen are called hydrocarbons and their derivatives. Example, CH4. This is the compound containing only carbon and hydrogen. This is called methane. C2H6. This compound is called ethane. C6H6. It is called benzene. So, and their derivatives. Example, C2H5OH. ಈಥೇನಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಹೈಡ್ರೋಜನನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದು ಒಂದು OH ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಹಾಕಿದರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಈಥೈಲ್ ಆಲ್ಕೋಹಾಲ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಈಥೈಲ್ ಆಲ್ಕೋಹಾಲ್. It is a derivative. Ethyl alcohol, ethyl amine. This is ethyl amine, etc. These are the derivatives of hydrocarbons. So, what is the latest definition of organic chemistry? The study of hydrocarbons and their derivatives is called organic chemistry. What are hydrocarbons? Compounds containing only carbon and hydrogen are called hydrocarbons and their derivatives. In addition to carbon and hydrogen, the organic compounds containing many other atoms, namely oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, chlorine, etc. They are the derivatives of hydrocarbons. So, and then the question rises, why should we study organic compounds as a separate branch? So, why organic compounds is studied in a separate branch which is called organic chemistry. Why should we study the compounds of carbon as a separate branch? So this is because the organic compounds are very large in numbers, and also the properties of organic compounds are entirely different from the properties of inorganic compounds. Because of these two reasons, we will study compounds of carbon in a separate branch called organic chemistry. So, because the compounds of carbon are very large in number. The compounds of carbon are very large in number, and number two, the properties of organic compounds are entirely different from the properties of from the properties of inorganic compounds. So because of these two reasons, carbon compounds are studied separately under the name organic chemistry. So next, why carbon forms so many organic compounds? Why carbon forms so many organic compounds? So the compounds of carbon are so large in number. Why the compounds of carbon are so large in number? So this is because of two reasons. Carbon forms very large number of carbon compounds because number one, carbon has the capacity to undergo catenation, and number two, carbon has carbon is tetravalent. So you have to understand the meaning of catalation and tetravalent. Why carbon forms so many organic compounds? Because of two reasons. Number one, carbon has the capacity to undergo catenation, and carbon is tetravalent. What is the meaning of catenation? The ability of carbon atom to combine with other carbon atoms. Ability of the carbon atom to combine with other carbon atoms by covalent bonds. The bond between carbon and carbon is covalent. The ability of carbon atom to combine with other carbon atoms to form long straight chain, branched chain, or ring structured compounds is called catenation. So carbon has the capacity to combine with other carbon atoms. Say for example, suppose this is one carbon atom, it can combine with another carbon atom, forming a straight chain or branched chain like this. This process is known as catenation. Capacity of carbon atom to combine with other carbon atoms, forming a straight chain, branched chain, or ring structures like this. Is called catenation. Understood? So carbon has the capacity to combine with other carbon atoms by covalent bonds, forming a straight chain, branched chain or ring-like structures of compounds is known as catenation. Because of catenation, it can form innumerable number of structures. So each structure becomes one compound. Therefore, think if you keep only one carbon, it is one compound. If you combine this carbon with another carbon, it forms another compound. If you add another carbon, it becomes another compound. So straight chain or branched chain or ring chain. So depending upon the number of carbon atoms, depending upon the structures, we will get innumerable number of carbon atoms. So because of this catenation, carbon can form large number of organic compounds. So what is catenation? This is also important. The capacity of carbon atom to combine with other carbon atoms forming straight chain, branched chain or ring-like structures is known as catenation. Number 2, tetravalency of carbon. What is the valency of carbon? Tetravalency of carbon. What is tetravalency? You might have heard in your lower classes. What is valency? For example, atomic number of carbon equals 6. Atomic number of carbon equals 6. That means in the periodic table, atoms are arranged in the increasing order of their atomic number. So atomic number indicates, so atomic number is equal to number of protons, which is also equal to number of electrons in an atom, in a neutral atom, in a neutral atom. So atomic number of carbon equals 6 means in one atom of carbon there are 6 protons and 6 electrons. How protons and electrons are located in an atom? So while studying the structure of atom, this is an atom. At the center of the atom there is a nucleus. This is called nucleus. In the nucleus there are protons and neutrons. Protons and neutrons are together called as nucleons. Nucleons. So electrons will revolve around the nucleus. This is the nucleus, and electrons will revolve around the nucleus in different orbits. Suppose this is the first orbit and this is the second orbit. This is the second orbit. It is also called as K shell, L shell, and this one is M shell, this one is N shell. It is also called as first orbit, second orbit, third orbit, fourth orbit, etc. So coming to carbon, how many electrons are there? There are 6 electrons. How many protons are there? There are 6 protons. Number of electrons is also equal to number of protons. There are 6 electrons. The electrons are arranged in different orbits around the nucleus. So the number of electrons present in first orbit is 2. In second orbit is 8. Is it not? So first orbit to second orbit, how many electrons are remaining? 4. So out of 6, 2 electrons are in the first orbit and 4 electrons in the second orbit. So the number of electrons present in the outermost shell is 4. Therefore, what is valency? The number of electrons present in the outermost shell is called valency. the number of electrons present in the outermost shell in carbon atom is 4, therefore it is tetravalent. So the number of electrons in the outermost shell of an atom is called valency of an atom. Valency of an atom. First up, since there are 4 electrons in the outermost shell of carbon atom, the valency of carbon equals 4. Valency of carbon equals 4, or it is tetravalent. Tetravalent. Since the valency is 4, it is also called as tetravalent. So this is the meaning of tetravalency of carbon. Atomic number of carbon is 6. There are 6 electrons in one atom of carbon. Out of these 6 electrons, 2 electrons are in the first shell and 4 electrons in the second shell or the outermost shell. The number of electrons present in the outermost shell is nothing but the valency. What is valency? Valency is also defined as the combining capacity of an atom. Combining capacity of an atom. So now the valency of carbon is 4. It is also called as tetravalent. You will be asked, what is the valency of carbon? Carbon valency is 4 and carbon is tetravalent. So around one carbon atom there are 4 electrons. So this is indicated by this Lewis structure. What is Lewis structure? The number of valence electrons around each atom is represented by dots. This is called Lewis structure or dot structure. Suppose this is one carbon atom and its valency is 4. There are 4 valence electrons. There is another carbon atom. It also has got 4 valent electrons. There is another carbon atom. It has also got 4 valent electrons. So these electrons share this electron of one carbon atom, share with this electron of another carbon atom, forming a covalent bond. So this way electron shares with this electron, forming another covalent bond, and then this electron of carbon atom can share with another electron of hydrogen atom, another atom of hydrogen atom, and this can also share with another atom of hydrogen atom, another electron 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 of hydrogen atom, hydrogen atom, hydrogen atom. So by sharing of 2 electrons form a covalent bond. So we will discuss in detail how covalent bonds are formed, what are the types of covalent bonds. Just for your information, since the valency of carbon is 4, it can form 4 bonds, covalent bonds with other atoms. To show, I am writing this one, to show how carbon atoms can combine with 4 other atoms because of its tetravalency. Because of the presence of 4 valency electrons in its outermost shell, carbon atom can combine with 4 other atoms like this. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. This one is 1, 2, 3, 4. This one is 1, 2, 3, 4. It can combine with 4 other carbon atoms by forming 4 covalent bonds. So what is the name of this compound? So if one carbon atom is there, this is called meth, eth, and this one is prop, this one is propane. So this is how propane is obtained. So suppose this is the carbon atom which has got 4 electrons and it combined with another hydrogen atom. What you will get? You will get methane. So CH4 is methane. Because of its tetravalency, carbon atom can combine with 4 other hydrogen atoms by 4 covalent bonds, and the compound obtained is methane. Instead of one hydrogen atom, if there is another carbon atom like this, what is the valency of this carbon atom? Its valency is also 4, and this carbon atom combined with this carbon atom by the sharing of these 2 pair of electrons, and these are 3 other hydrogen atoms. So you will get 3 other covalent bonds. So the name of this compound is ethane. So methane becomes ethane. Methane becomes ethane. So if this hydrogen atom is replaced by another carbon atom, and if this carbon atom combines with 3 other hydrogen atoms like this, so you will get propane. This one is propane. This one is propane. So because of its tetravalency, carbon atom can combine with 4 other atoms either to form a straight chain or to form a branched chain like this: carbon, carbon, carbon. So carbon, carbon like this. So like this it can form innumerable number of carbon atoms. So since the valency of carbon is 4, it can form 4 covalent bonds with 4 other atoms. 4 other atoms. As a result, straight chain compounds will be formed, branched chain compounds will be formed. If it is a ring formation, ring compounds will also be formed. So that is why carbon forms innumerable number of compounds. What is the reason? Because of its catenation, because of the ability to undergo catenation, because of its tetravalency, carbon can form innumerable number of organic compounds. So this is the reason why carbon forms large number of carbon compounds.